So with the UFC recently signing Parnasse, and it assumes they're gonna sign Usman Nurmagomedov, I want to talk about someone who I think could be a better signing than both of them. You know, longevity wise, how their career plays out, how well they do in the UFC, not just pure name value or how many tickets they might sell. So today we're talking about Razhabali Shaydullaev. Um, this dude is 25 years old. He's 18-0, currently in RIZIN from Kyrgyzstan. Um, and if you look, yes, he has all of his wins are by finish, 11 submission, 7 by KO TKO. So yeah, obviously Ryzen doesn't have the best competition compared to the UFC. Obviously, I understand that. But none of the companies that you sign other people from do. But look at somebody like Amasov, he comes over and he's just that good where he's gonna do good in the UFC, you know. And at the time he only had one loss in his career. A lot of these other dudes, they'll have like a few we've seen them get beat before, so they kind of know they might not go on like a crazy run, but I feel like none of the UFC like big signings so far recently have been that good besides Amasov. Like Aaron Pico, Patricio Pitbull. I mean, Aaron Pico looked good, but again, when you have the two dudes you signed that you thought were gonna be good fighting each other, you know, a year later, like, what does that really say? Like, the signings weren't that good, pretty much. They, MVP, another example, just kind of a underwhelming so far. Hasn't gotten a finish yet in the UFC. And then Kaya Sakura, who came from Razin. The thing with Kaya Sakura, they put him at 125. He fought at 135 in Razin, so I don't know. I think he'll do a lot better at 135. He is fighting soon in 2 weeks, I think, from now. So I want to talk about Razabali's main skill set. He's mainly a grappler. Will definitely try to take you down and keep you there the majority of the fight if he has to. That being said, he doesn't actually want to just sit on you the whole time and do no damage like we see a lot with grapplers. He has some of the best, ground and pound that I've seen. He lands super heavy and thudding shots. He's not gonna really give you any room to breathe. So it's good to see him try to find a finish any way possible, because we don't want to see just somebody laying on top of somebody the whole time. We want to see them punch, and when that's the whole point. When you get someone to the ground, you have to land damage or you have to find a submission. And a lot of the times after you land damage, you can find the submission easier. So it's good to see somebody actually utilizing that well. And then you might be like, oh, he probably sucks on the feet then. No, he's actually pretty good on the feet. He likes to throw powerful looping shots, especially like with the right. Like he'll kind of explode, lean, dip inside, and throw a powerful right, or like an overhand sometimes. The dip thing is a little concerning. I could see him getting hit by some knees. He got hit by a head kick versus Yuta Kubo in their first fight. So it's like that is a slight concern, but nothing really too crazy. I'm sure he can adjust to that. And he uses his back leg kicks really well. Again, everything he throws is really heavy, so a lot of the kicks he throws will throw you off balance. He'll throw a super fast high kick and then lead it into a spinning back fist. He's done that a couple times. So it's like, yeah, he's not like a slouch on the feet or anything, and just a pure, grab. Maybe like someone like, who just got a fight announced for his Grand Dawson, Aliev. He kind of is the grappler where it's just like he does nothing but grapple, and it's like really boring to see pretty much. Yeah, nah, I'm really impressed from the fights I've seen live, and then the fights I've watched in the past from him. It's just this dude, I think he has all the tools to be a really great, signing that the UFC gets. I wouldn't really consider him a prospect. I think he's like, if he was on Dana White Contender Series, I think he would beat majority of the featherweights right now. I think he would. I don't want to say give him a ranked opponent. Let's say because I'm pretty sure this is the last fight on his deal. Which, let's talk about that real quick. PFL and RIZIN are doing like a crossover. AJ McKee is the featherweight champion in PFL. Razhabali and RIZIN. Right now, I think if Razabali was in the UFC, he'd be somewhere in this range. Just based off, his maybe first couple fights, he gotta get you. There's a big rule change. Obviously, I mean, he's fought in an octagon before they've done that, so I'm sure he's used to that. But just UFC is still a lot different than RIZIN. Obviously, better opponent quality. Whoever he fights, if it's in this range, it would be the best opponent he's faced. So, I mean, David Onama, Giga Chikadze, Vinicius Oliveira. I think he, beats all these guys pretty easily. Obviously, Josh, I mean, wasn't gonna really mention him. Like Aaron Pico would be a fun fight, but I don't know if he could really handle the overwhelming, grappling and just explosiveness. Like, I think where you first get his like real test is like maybe someone like Steve Garcia, who could really have the power to hurt you. And yeah, I skipped over Kevin Vallejos because he shouldn't be 14th on this list. I think he's like 8 in the UFC. I don't know. Tapology's rankings are bad. He is I'm gonna talk about potential super fun matchups in a little bit, so we'll get to Kevin Vallejos. Melky Costa, like, imagine him debuting versus Melky Costa next year. Like, that would be pretty fun. He actually recently signed with Ali Abdelaziz, which is a good signing that we actually could get him in the UFC soon. I'm sure the matchmakers are looking at this guy on the regional. Well, it's not really like looking on the regional scene, but I'm sure they've heard his name a lot. And when his contract ends, I don't see why they don't sign him. He's fought enough in RIZIN. He's undefeated, young. I feel like this is a signing you can't miss. But like, I like him versus Yusuf Zalal. I like him versus Yair, man. Like, okay, here's the 4 fighters where it's like, this is fun. It could get bad though, and I would throw Lerone Murphy and Silva, and then just pretend Yair Rodriguez is Kevin Vallejos. So obviously Volk, he probably will be retired by the time Razabali comes over. Diego Lopez, rumored to be a lightweight. What's that gonna really look like? If he stays there, then there's not that many names. I mean, there's still a good amount of names, but Aljo, who's also closer to retirement, he's one of the best grapplers though. That would be a really fun matchup to see, like we saw him versus Mosfar, and Mosfar versus Razabali. It might just be a almost better version of the Aljo fight. So Silva, I think his like wildness could give problems to Razabali. He hits super hard. I just really don't know how he would stop the takedown. Like, I think Razabali wouldn't waste any time and just try to get him to the ground. Lerone Murphy, almost the same thing. I think it would kind of be a little too overwhelming for him, the explosiveness. But the one fighter I'm like, okay, yeah, he'd probably lose. This is his toughest fight at featherweight. It's Kevin Vallejos. Kevin Vallejos is the future champ. Like, I'm locking it in. I'm guaranteeing. I'm gonna make a video eventually. What I think the champs will be by the end of next year. Kevin Vallejos, spoiler, is on that list. But yeah, Kevin Vallejos, he probably is the best current striker at featherweight. This dude, he's literally like, obviously the Ilya Taporia comparisons are there. I see it. Yeah, like his only loss in his career is to John Silva, which was on the Contender Series early. We want to see that rematch eventually. That would be, fireworks. That should be a main event. Maybe even for the title potentially. Maybe a vacant title after Volk retires or something. But yeah, the spinning back fist versus Giga Chikadze was beautiful. Kind of just stepped in and threw that super hard. Josh Emmett fight was just pure domination. Josh Emmett was a skeleton. Yeah, he had a tough fight with Danny Silva, but Danny Silva is not easy to finish. Kevin Vallejos has a lot of power, and him and Razabali are kind of similar. They're like shorter, but like really stocky. So I think he would be able to defend the takedowns pretty well. And just his boxing is on another level. So if I had to rank some of the toughest fights for Razhabali in featherweight, my top 3 would be probably Mosfar, Kevin Vallejos, and I'd say John Silva, just because we know he's really tricky. Because I think by the time he comes over, Aljo and Volk will maybe be gone. Maybe not Aljo, but Volk might be gone. So yeah, Razabali I think would be a better signing than Usman Nurmagomedov and Parnasse. I think he's better. I don't know. I just think he would perform the best out of the 3 in the UFC. If you look at Parnasse, it's like he's gotten dropped a lot in his fights. I've watched, some tape on him because I wasn't too familiar with him. He got dropped a lot. He gets hurt, and yeah, he's exciting to watch. Don't get me wrong, but Dan Hooker, that's a tough fight for your debut. Usman Nurmagomedov, he's going to war with Paul Hughes. What does that really say about him? If he gets Ilya Taporia, Paddy Pimblett, even Max Holloway, I mean, that would be an interesting fight because I think he would definitely use his wrestling. But it's just like, how is he gonna look against these guys at lightweight? It's really a top heavy division. There's not really a lot of room for some of these other guys. I feel like a lot of people are locked out the top 5 at lightweight. So I don't know. I think at featherweight, Razabali can have a really nice career, long run. I think he can be a future champ. If not, at least fight for the title. Like, man, him versus Vallejos would be a dream title fight for me. Like, that's 2 fighters I really love watching, and yeah, it would just, they're both the same height. I just think it would be a really fun. It's almost like a off-brand. Nah, Razabali doesn't fight like Islam, so I'm not gonna say that. And yeah, I do know very well that a lot of people glaze up these fighters from other companies. We've seen it with Patchy Mix, and then they come over and they're terrible. So obviously there's a chance of that, but man, I don't know. I just think this dude looks a little too dominant for the competition that he's facing right now. And AJ McKee is a step up. He's not a bad fighter by all means. He's the champion of PFL. That does say a little something. especially for someone in RIZIN. So, but we're gonna see him, and I still think he's gonna get it done. I don't see him facing any problems with McKee. And yeah, man, if you don't really know about him, or because you don't watch RIZIN, you could go watch the full fights. His last 5 full fights are on YouTube. But yeah, I would go and watch some of his fights. I think you'd be impressed and be like, okay, I get your vision now. I see what you're saying. And yeah, this dude would definitely beat Luke Riley, Tommy McMillan. Hey, I'm sorry, Rihiki's probably beating you too. I think he beats all 3, and those are, some of the best prospects at featherweight. I think he beats all of them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you agree with me, if you like Razabali's style. Don't think he's gonna be good in the UFC, but yeah, just let me know.